Alrighty, good evening, 2 seconds in and I've already tripped. Good evening, everyone. So I am back to talk about Dragalia Lost, and I put in the title Defects in Design, and on today's itinerary, I have to talk a little bit about game design, specifically Tartarus in that area, but I'm planning on starting by talking about Chapter 15, because it's been a while. I've had some time to think about it. My opinion hasn't changed since my initial one, but I'll go over what I think about Chapter 15 and the story. And then I want to talk a little bit about Tartarus as a fight and as the community has taken an approach to it. And then, let's see, I have written down to go into anniversary predictions, but there's not really anything special there. I just kind of looked at the past Dragalia digests and wrote down stuff that's probably going to happen. Let's see. So, I will start off with what I thought about Chapter 15. So, Chapter 15 is pretty old now. It's old news. So, quick spoiler warning, I guess, for Chapter 15. Although, on the note of spoiler warning, if anyone saw the chapter trailer that they released for Chapter 15, you basically saw the entire story. Because, let me see. One moment. I'm going to pull it up. Video, YouTube, let's see. Yeah. Right. Alright. So, drop this right here. So, if we watch this chapter trailer, it basically shows off the entire chapter, because this is what happens in the beginning. Valix gets defeated by Nedric. And then, yeah, so there's Nedric. So this kind of hints at his identity as he gets revealed, I guess. And then it shows Ciela, which of course we had a boss fight with Ciela in the middle of the chapter. And then we had a fight with Valix. And we had a fight with Thor. And yeah, then we had this nice panoramic shot with the whole group, and Nedric tells Uden the truth. And then the chapter just kind of ends there, right? I mean, of course, we have the part at the end of this with where Xena teleports everyone home. So that's the whole chapter right there in the chapter trailer. So here are the real spoilers. We got 2 bits of lore in that. We found out Nedric's identity, who is the true 7th heir, and then we found out kind of where the Dawn Shard is suspected to be. It seems like Nedric's not sure it's there, but he's heard tell that it's supposed to be there. So that's with that. So let's see. As in terms of what people are putting in comments, what kind of PC do I have? I have a laptop. I'm hoping to get a more powerful computer in the next month or so, but I want to build a custom one, and they keep announcing new, better parts, and it's kind of hard to pick. Let's see. So yeah, we had Chapter 15, and let me look at my notes so I can go through this in. Let's see. Yeah, so it was super predictable. Nedric being the true 7th heir was the number one theory as far as I could tell, and so we just got confirmation on it. With Elasan, so I remember back when Chapter 14 came out, people really hated Elasan for just letting Zethia go, and then the interlude came out, and it's oh, she actually did get beaten to a pulp. And then we got Chapter 15, and they kind of just didn't go anywhere with that, because they spent several interludes building up this Elasan doubt thing. In the Chapter 11 interlude, I think it was, we got Harl showing Elasan the documents and her finding out the secret. And then, in the Chapter 12 or whatever interlude, we have her struggling with doubt, and then Alex is hey, what's up? And she's oh, it's nothing. And Alex is if something's bothering you, you can tell me or whatever. And so, they kind of really built this up. And so, they, they didn't have, the payoff I was, kind of expecting them to have with that. Because I was thinking what they were going to do is, they were, Nedric was just going to spring this on Uden, and he's going to be you're not the true heir. I am, and you have no right to be a royal. And so what I thought was gonna happen is like when he dropped that information on him, and yeah, he used Elasan to like back it up. But I thought Elasan was gonna step in, because what he did with Elasan in the previous interlude, the chapter 14 interlude, is he asked Elasan, why are you following him? Like, where do your allegiances lie? And I thought it would be really cool if she, like, stepped in after Nedrick revealed the truth to Yuden. He was struggling with it, and she would have been like, I've known this for a while, and he may not be, like, the son of Alberius, or not Alberius, the son of Aurelius, but he, like, is a royal person, and I know what kind of world he's trying to build, and I stand behind that. And then, like, his friends could, like, chime in, like, yeah, we're with Ellie and the prince. And then, like, Valix could step in and give us some payoff from chapter 6, where he vetted the prince for royalty. He's like, yes, he possesses dragon blood, he's able to transform, and he has the conviction to do what needs to be done, and he has the support of his people, which is like the entirety of chapter 6, it would have given us some payoff there. And then they could have just totally gotten whooped by Nedrick anyway, and we'd still have the same result, but with a more powerful payoff, and yeah, more power of anime friendship. But we didn't get that. Instead, we got, it's like, Elasan, you're like hiding something, and Ciel's like, Elasan's like hiding the truth from you, she's known this whole time, and then it's like, oh. And then we get back to the Helm, and it's like, Ellie, I'm sorry you've had to struggle with this so long. Are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'll be all right. And it's just over. There's so much buildup and, like, no payoff. Speaking of buildup and no payoff, where was Leaf and Laxi? So, they've had this thing where, like, in chapter 13, Leaf showed up and was like, behold my gala uniform, and then disappears for chapter 14. And in chapter 14, Laxi shows him, like, behold Eden Moat, and then disappears for the next chapter. It's like, it's literally entirely a gala advertisement and not really narrative. Like, they could have made it narrative in chapter 14 at least, with like, because like obviously they had like that moment where like Laxi activates Eden mode and starts like fending off everyone, and like dealing with things. But like they could have had Laxi like narratively stay back. I don't know. I don't actually know where Laxi fell out of that chapter, but like it feels like she just kind of disappeared. Another thing that doesn't happen is after Yuden, cause the other thing is with like Ellie standing behind Yuden and having like that whole narrative payoff is it still wouldn't make sense, because everyone's just kind of failed to acknowledge the choice Yuden made in chapter 14, where he just walks into the castle. Like, I think I ranted about this last time, that he just walks into the throne room and is like, give me my sister, and Morciad is like, oh yeah, sure, just let me possess you, and I'll unpossess your sister. It's like, yeah, let's do it. And like, everyone was upset about it, and then no one stayed upset about it. It just kind of got dropped. I have written down in my notes here that the next two gala are going to be Thor as the first one, which ended up happening. And then, so, the second one would be Yuden 2 or Xena. So, I had a friend tell me that, Cygames and their other properties never repeat a gala character, or have, like, an alternate gala. So it's probably not going to be Yuden 2, even though they seem to hint at him reinventing himself at the end of the chapter. Based on previous things where they showed Leaf in the channel trailer, and then they showed Laxi using like Eden mode in the channel trailer, and then they showed Xena at the end of this channel trailer, it's likely to be Xena, even though it feels really rushed. But I have a surprise theory. What if it is Gala Aurelius in the form of Audric, to tie into the anniversary event? So those are my two top picks. It's either going to be Xena or Audric / Aurelius. Yuden has code as space in the alt. Yuden has space in the code for 5 more alts. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he had code for infinity more alts. They're just gonna, well, I mean, the only alt he's gotten is what, the Gala one. So, but I mean, like, at the same time, he's the player insert character, so giving him a story aside from like maybe the main story and like the Gala story, it'd be kind of weird. So, yeah. So next up, the Dawn Shard reveal. So it does make sense that Aurelius would know where the Dawn Shard is if he went to make a deal with Finlorda to save Yuden's life for the alternate timeline that Xena's from. So this hints that when he survives in Xena's timeline, Aurelius heads north, and picks up the Dawn Shard there somehow. That would be a rather interesting story to explore. So we still need more details on that, though, and we're probably going to get them in the coming chapters, albeit very, very extremely excruciatingly slowly. So, then let's see. So another thing that's unknown is the fate of Valix. So I'm kind of upset that they didn't bring Valix back to the Halidom, considering they definitely had the power to, because Xena was going to take like everyone except like Valix, I guess, and like then Zethia was like, no, leave me here so that Nedrick doesn't try and kill everyone, and then so Xena starts teleporting her. And why didn't she bring Valix? Like, there was an extra teleportation spot there at minimum, like, and they just left Valix there. So, I mean, maybe they didn't actually leave Valix there or something, and that's going to be revealed in the interlude, who knows. But my theory is that if Valix was left up north, he might wind up in Svanitla, which is the home country of Victor and Kirsty. Because there's obviously a subplot going on up there, and it'd be cool to tie that into the main campaign. Let's see. So, the next thing is masks. So, I have a theory that the masks the Agito wearing, like, all the Agito wear masks, and I don't think it's a coincidence that the drop we get from the Agito fights are called, like, masks of the different, like, and they have different adjectives for themselves. So I think that's definitely to clue us in that the masks they wear have something to do with, like, the way they act, like, or the power they get. So all the Agito have access to a power called the Feral Shroud, which allows them to distort space. No idea what that actually does in practice, but it's something they can do, established by the narrative. So with that, it's pretty evident that Nedrick gave them the masks because he also put one on Valix, and it made Valix's behavior a little more primal. And I'm wondering, like, what if that is the reason that the Agito all act so violently and rashly on their ideals? So, like, Volk's ideal is that those born with privilege trample on those born without. And so then the radical part of that is that he's killing people with privilege. Like, I wrote a whole song about this. It's on my channel. You can go check it out. Verse 5 is coming out maybe soon. I'm debating if I want to do a verse 6 for Nedrick. It depends on a few things. But yeah, so that's soon. And then so with Kaiyan, it's like evolution. So like the strong have a right to exist over the weak, and that like only like you can only get stronger through evolution and through violence. And yeah, like it's good to be physically strong, I guess. It gives you a nice advantage, but you don't, like, killing people is not the only way to get stronger. Especially, like, if we consider, like, when he was on his way to the Agito meeting, and he killed, like, a guy getting mugged, and then the mugger, I doubt he got any stronger from killing them. It's like when you're level 100 and you kill a level 1 enemy and you get, like, 1 XP. Then we have Ciela, who was turned away from the church. I think I've talked about what I think are backstories in the past, but basically they hinted at, before she met Nedrick, her being a bit more of a violent character, when Ellie like talks about that her methods were a little bit extreme. And so that implies that like she liked to do things her own way. She liked to get a little more like extreme and like perhaps violent, maybe like to the point of torture. I don't know. It's not explicitly stated what she did, but the point is she crossed a line, and the church was not okay with that. And the church said, no, you can't do that. That's not right. And she disagreed with that, and so she renounced the church and left. And of course she got excommunicated for like similar reasons. And then she met Nedrick, and now just goes about renouncing the church. And so then let's see, with the twins just don't want to be told what to do. To me, they come across as spoiled children, and I think that's no mistake in their character design too. That the twins are like kids, they're basically undisciplined kids, and then Nedrick gave them the power they need to just oppose any authority that would be placed upon them. So they can just do whatever they're free to do whatever they want. And then finally, Tartarus. Okay, so here's my thing with Tartarus. I think it would have been much cooler, narratively speaking, if instead of Tartarus being Tartarus, if Tartarus was Chthonius. So, the introduction, like the preview we got of Tartarus's wrath before the fight actually came out, kind of hinted that there might be a connection between him and Chthonius, because like it's the dragon clad in armor or whatever. There doesn't seem to be any connection, but I think it would have been really cool if instead of getting the Chthonius reveal in chapter 10, like we could have gotten something else in there, like maybe Alberius like still did something or other. Something, or maybe like just not even Alberius, but still revealing the past. But like what would have happened instead if instead of merging with Chthonius witnessed Alberius give his life to seal the other, and then like mourned the loss of his king, and then never reported back to the Halidom, and then for 300 years was off on his own mourning until he encountered Nedric, who like brought him to like seek the destruction of the world that forced his king to sacrifice himself. And I thought it would be really cool if Tartarus was Chthonius instead of a different dragon, because like I don't know, he just feels kind of like thrown in there. Like hear the meme like we grant you the rank of Alberius's dragon but not the rank of Great Worm. Like what makes a Great Worm? Because they're obviously not the strongest dragons on the planet, but like because the lore says that the Great Worms are the ones that teamed up with Alberius, but obviously more than 6 dragons did that now. So, not to mention that Chthonius is the Nether Worm and Tartarus is the Abyssal Worm. Oh, I just saw a note in chat. I totally forgot to turn my music on. Whoops. There we go. All right, music is on now. Dang, I swore to myself I wouldn't forget to do that. Anyway, so. Also, I posted this in chat earlier, and it's in the description. But if this live stream gets over 100 concurrent viewers, I will turn on my camera so you can see my face. But moving on, let's see. So the North. I think Finlorda is a fairy. That's my number one theory right now. I don't have too much evidence on that other than we know like about some mythical creatures in the world. Like dragons are one obviously and fairies are another. And all of the Agito seem to represent a mythical creature too. Volk is a werewolf, Kion is a minotaur, Ciela is a harpy, the twins are a fairy, and Tartarus is a dragon. So with that, I'm thinking Finlorda might be a fairy, based on some text we had, I believe, in the first reveal of like the swapped at birth story, where like she's like, I grant the wish of the human Aurelius. So granting wish and the human Aurelius mean that she's not human and that she has a way to grant a wish either magically or via position status. So not sure about that, but I'd also think it'd be a really interesting plot twist if Yuden was half fairy and he's related to Not. And that's how like they met Not, or that's how Not came to live with them when they were young. Is Not's actually from the northern country that Finlorda probably rules, because like she said like that, or it was said in like one of the documents that some sworn agreement between their countries. So like Aurelius would be the ruler of Alberia, and Finlorda would be the ruler of whatever other country. Let's see. So I have a note here from before Tartarus got revealed, trying to figure out what the nicknames were in the Agito Assembly in Chapter 15. One was like the Predator, and the other one was whatever other thing, I can't remember. My initial theory was that Tartarus was going to be like someone who hunted people or something, and be like the opposite of Alex. And it was really interesting when he was introduced, because like Alex kind of introduced him, then he showed up, and then Cleo recognized him. So I kind of wasn't sure which way they'd go with that until he finally got revealed. So my next question is, why does Nedric want the Dawn Shard? So obviously that like it, I'm going to have a slight spoiler here for a thing after all the Agito fights, but the goal of the Agito is literally to bring about the ruination of the world. Because, like, the world has just hurt them all in such, like, specific, like, life-ruining ways, and they have the power for it, that they're seeking to just bring about the ruin of the world and just end the whole world. So apparently the Dawn Shard is a piece of that plan, and maybe Zethia is too. But, like, I'm really not sure where they're planning to go with that, because as Xena's used the Dawn Shard, it's a way to travel between universes and travel to the past, but it's not a way to travel directly to your own past. You can travel to a past in a different reality. I've been over realities a lot in the past, but, like, with that, it's like, it seems he might be doing the thing Xena's doing, because Xena isn't trying to change her past, she's trying to fix her future. By finding something in the reality that she's joined to bring back with her to stop her brother who's been possessed. So not sure about that. There are a few northern countries to be concerned about that I've also noted down. Svenitla is one of them. There's one called Barth that Svenitla's at war at. There was one mentioned in Garland's adventurer story, or Garland's dragon story. So that's pretty much it I have as far as I have to go on chapter 15. All in all, I think it was just a really short chapter. There wasn't much there. And maybe that's just because, like, things are slow right now in the world, but I don't know. I was really hoping for a little bit more. And, like, there was also, like, that one part where, like, it's just one segment of gameplay or something, and then, like, that was it. There's, like, nothing else in there. There's no narrative. It just moves forward. And I kind of get the idea of having the narrative tie into, like, the different places on the map as you approach, but then it kind of feels not great when it's all backlined, because it feels like the story just kind of condenses into one spot instead of progressing, like, naturally. All right. So next I want to talk a little about the new fight, Tartarus. As I wanted to wait a little bit on this stream so I could, like, get my thoughts together and, like, kind of experience the fight and see how things went. So obviously when it first came out, everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's the hardest Agito. So first, let me dispel that every fight that ever releases is the hardest fight on its release of the current content because of the new fight bias. The community at large is not familiar with the mechanics yet, and in that, people will die more often, people make mistakes more often, and you're just more likely to fail on the first day it comes out, the first week it comes out, because people don't know the fight yet, and in the case of Agitos, light units don't have their Agito weapons yet, and in this case, didn't have Thor yet. So when the fight first came out and people started doing Shadow runs, I'm not upset with the fact that Shadow can clear the fight as well. What upset me is that Shadow could not only clear faster than a light composition, but monumentally faster. And basically, my thinking was, okay, so light just needs to breach the DPS point where they no longer need a healer, because light without healer at the time when the fight first came out was not strong enough to get past the point in the fight, or to clear before they needed a healer, kind of. So in that, like, 4 DPS was kind of hard with, like, Cupid heals. Cupid heals are a little bit less reliable because you can't just Dragon when you need to in the fight, because Tartarus actually takes Dragon and makes it a mechanic in the fight, and I think that's really good design, because, like, you need Dragon to break out of the dimensional shift. And the mechanics of the fight are actually decently cohesive. So with the mechanics, I do think it's really interesting, like, how in this Agito specifically you're able to disable the mechanics as you go through the fight. And the order in which the mechanics are disabled is kind of an important one, because, like, the first one you can disable is healing is reduced to 1 HP. And so, like, that makes it so that you can recover from mistakes faster. And so the other one in phase 1 is that your attacks are they're limited to a damage cap. And I also don't think that's too bad, because, like, it can be overridden by dispelling the buff from yourself by dragoning. And it also makes the fight just last a little bit longer, and it's not a mechanic into phase 2. So it's not terribly annoying. but with that, it's like you can also get around it by using, I actually specifically for Tartarus, I got Catherine's shared skill, which hits I think 46 times, and like the skill itself is not limited as much by the damage cap because each one of those individual hits can deal the maximum damage. It's also like a buster skill for just demolishing the shadows that care about hit count, because one of those skills will just demolish half the HP in expert, as well as it taking about 2 of its own blasts, which reduce it by a 5th of its HP, 20 HP, out of its maximum of 100. So yeah, like I think, and I think hit count was also like used in, I haven't actually done the Thor fight on hard or very hard yet, because, well, I'm actually honestly waiting until half stamina, because I have no need to go through it yet. But like I'm excited to do the fights in chapter 15. I'm really hoping for half stamina across the board on the story come anniversary. So yeah, and then let's see. So as far as coordination is required in Tartarus, it's actually not too bad. You need to coordinate a little bit for the portals. Like there's a mechanic that may or may not be a bug, but if it is a mechanic, it's bugged. Where if you match the player to the player color, so like player 1 is like blue or whatever, and that player goes to the blue portal, they don't get afflicted, or they get like affliction relief or something. So as far as that goes, I think the coordination required in Tartarus is, you need some, but I don't think it's as hard as other fights. One of the big things is who's dragoning when, because if someone dragons too soon, they can just kill literally everyone. Or if no one has dragon at all, then you're just stuck and you all die. So, but that ties into dragon being an actual mechanic in the fight. So if everyone in a public room knows the fight, it shouldn't be too hard. If someone in the public room doesn't know the fight, someone could die. But I mean, that's how it always goes. And like the other thing is, lights with Thor and the Agito weapons has started clearing a lot faster. Still not as fast as Shadow, but faster. And personally, when it comes to Dragalia Lost content, I don't like my content to be over before it starts. Aspadash alone was an absolute nightmare, not because Nightmare was hard, but because Nightmare was easy. And I didn't get to see the fight, didn't get to listen to the awesome music, didn't get to play the game. It was boring. It was a terrible event. We didn't get to do anything. Omega was boring too. So I enjoy fights that, like, they're not really, really infuriating, but like they don't end immediately either. So like shadow compositions, yeah, they'll get done faster, and yeah, they're probably better for people who want to farm materials really quick, but I think a light composition, maybe even one with a healer, like, is a better way to just enjoy playing the game. Because, like, I don't know, that's probably my bias speaking, because I have pretty much played exclusively Hildegard in Tartarus. I might start playing Estelle now that I've 70 MC'd Estelle, of course. She's like my favorite 3-star. But like the fight doesn't take too long. How do I feel about the Demon Ramiel fight? I don't know. I kind of half paid attention to it while I played it really quick at work today. It was interesting. I like how it had 2 phases. That's really all I have to say about that. It had unique attack patterns from other fights, so that was cool. It's too bad we only really played once or twice for the 2 difficulties. Let's see. I have a note here that the portals in Tartarus are cool. I think it's really cool, like, when you go through a portal and it plays the animation. I was really hoping when I first saw it that it would, like, take it to the past or something, and you'd have to, like, take something out or something or other. But, it's alright. It's interesting that you get split up from the rest of the party, because, like, if you're in a different room than the healer is in, the healer can't heal you. And, like, that's not the worst. Oh, another thing about healers, Hildegard's shield, because you have it up decently often, actually does protect from a lot of attacks. Like Julieta is so tanky, it can block like several like types of attacks. Only once, of course, but then, you know, you get the shield back. So yeah, let's see. I think I've covered most of the generalized stuff I wanted to talk about in that. As far as specifics go, I do like some of the things that show up, like the Void Ray, how like it targets people, and then like you can, I kind of like that like maybe like you can either hold still and expect everyone to dodge, or if you think you have time, you can try and angle it like towards the edge of the arena to get it away from everyone. And then like the phase 2 mechanics of being immune to Dispel and then reducing Dragon Gauge. Being immune to Dispel is kind of interesting, especially now that we have Luca as our native light dispeller. So like Tartarus gives himself like 5 buffs when he gives himself buffs, and then he expends one of them to power up an attack. And I think that's really cool because actually using Dispel makes the fight easier. Like it doesn't change the mechanics so that you can attack more, it changes the mechanics so that you can defend more, which is different from something like in Kaiyan where like you need to dispel the shield, or also something in like Ciela where you need to dispel the defense buff. And I guess it's kind of similar to Volk where he gives himself strength buffs, so like you dispel the buff so that you don't die. And I think the twins buffs just function differently because those aren't really dispelled by Dispel. While Dispel works, you want to afflict them to get rid of their buffs. Yeah, and as far as the reduction of Dragon goes, I think that's an okay mechanic, especially since Dragon is like a required mechanic in the fight. And you have to like pick your battles. Like I remember earlier on in the runs, we would have the people who got dimensional shifted sit in the middle and block all of the things and then just completely lose Dragon. But like what you really want to do is you want to go like guard just like one corner, so you only get hit with like 1 or 2 of those arrows and everyone else just hides behind you. Then you only lose a little bit of Dragon. So, because you don't need to defend the entire arena, you just need to defend a little bit. So I do like Tartarus. If you're currently farming it for all of the weapons, my advice is maybe don't do that. Because if you farm out everything now, you might not have anything left for the next month. I mean, Anniversary's coming up, but that's at the end of the month. Like, that's still a ways away. So, like, I've been playing Agito with just my naturally generated wings, plus whatever ashes I use when I want to team up with someone. And I have not faced burnout on any of the Agito fights. Maybe a little bit on Volk, just because that's the longest running one. How much Warmite do I have? 8k tops. Yeah, so I think Tartarus is well designed. I've been happy with the Agito fights since Ciela. I think all the Agito fights are well designed. Kaiyan just had too little HP. Actually, I guess I'll let that transition me into my next topic, is this month in Dragalia Lost with like the balance updates. So I guess I'll go ahead and talk about that to death. But first of all, guys, let me show you this news update. We're getting an Astral Raid this weekend, and look who it is! Such a novel boss. Okay, jokes aside, let's move on. So I've seen like no less than 4 other YouTubers cover this month in Dragalia Lost already. So event happened, got new event, got new dragon, new mana spirals. I was really surprised that all of these mana spirals were actually decent. Estelle's isn't necessary, but it's nice that she got it. And with her first ability, she got 10% more Force Strike, 8% Skill Haste, and a Panic Heal. Or like a Crisis Heal, I'll call it. And like, she got more than that. That was just one ability. She got full Curse Res, which is honestly the only thing I wanted out of the mana spiral. And like, the Skill Haste like is very undervalued by a lot of people, I think, because she has a really high SP cost on her skill 2. Her skill 2, I have her shared skill. The SP cost for it went up about, I think, 600 SP, and the shared skill is still cheaper than using it as her inherent skill 2. Luca got Dispel, that's nice. I haven't actually looked up his new mods yet. Let me actually do that real quick, because I need to be versed in literally everything. Luca. Alright, what do we got? Alright, that's respectable. Not amazing, but respectable, especially since it's a free shared skill. The SP cost went up a little bit. Honestly, it's worth it for the damage increase. And then this one also went up. And, alright, yeah, wow, okay. It's not half bad. And then he's got Paralyzing Edge, which is nice. Dang, that sucks though, because I was thinking like Melora has a Paralyzing Edge as a co-ability, as a chain co-ability, but they're both bows, so they kind of overlap. So, oops. And then like Lucretia got a good spiral too she got like a lot more energy, which synergizes nicely with Thor, and then like the entire team's crit rate by 10%. That's not a lot, but 30 seconds is a long time. So that is pretty good. I'm considering bringing her up to 56 node because I do own her skill. And it's only a cost of 3, but the SP cost goes from like 7,000 to 12,000. And like that's kind of worth it because it's not double the SP cost, but it is double the energy. So I'm considering it. Although I will give this advice. If you're planning on spiraling characters, my advice, I usually don't say wait, but my advice is to wait because we're about to get a major game rebalance and spirals as a whole could just change. Like the mods, like the chances, like everything could change. Check her on the DPS sim later. I don't like using the DPS sim as gospel. Like, I use the DPS sim when I don't know what worm prints to put on a character. I'm like, what's optimal? And so I go to the DPS sim, I pick the first one, and then Primal Crisis because I don't like afflictions. So yeah, we got them. Defensive battle, woo. As far as the certain pair, it's funny, I was watching Foundry's video on this earlier today, and he listed off several pairs that like were the first ones that came to mind for me. So it could like it's talking about like the secrets of their origins. That makes it sound like super mysterious. Cerise and Luca was a pair that came to mind. Verica and Naveed came to mind. Although we'll probably be getting gotcha alts, so Verica already has one, so that kind of lessens that one a little. So not entirely sure who we're gonna get for that, but I'm excited either way. Stuff. Fractured Features is getting rerun. This is kind of why I'm thinking we might get Gala Audric. Because like especially if he shows up again in the anniversary event, I'm really hoping like they bring Audric into canon because then I can question literally everything. So that could be fun. I'm excited for the anniversary event because diving into the lore is like my favorite thing to do. As my channel would surmise, and as what people apparently remember me for, it's like I have a weekly how to play series, almost weekly. I'm trying to get back into the weekly, and I've been really excited for it recently because I got some big projects coming up. But like I do how to play like almost every week for the past year, and like people just remembering me as like the guy who made like the history of Dragalia lost power creep or something, or shadow power creep, and like the history of the game or something like that. So, oh well. Let's see. Master difficulty for Ciala. We all knew that was coming. Second anniversary. We all knew that was coming. Future updates. So yeah, they're planning. So this is one of the things I wanted to talk about. So, what they are presenting is that they are balancing everyone around Shadow. What they are actually saying, what I see, is that they are nerfing Shadow. Because they also mentioned that like they are planning to rebalance the game so as not to change how things play. Basically, instead of bringing Shadow down, they're bringing everyone else up, and then they're bringing the content they play in up to match it. So, like, to me, it seems like it's the same thing as turning Shadow's mods down without actually doing that so people don't complain about it. So, I wouldn't be surprised if during this rebalance, Expert Kion got more HP. I am personally hoping for an affliction change. I'm hoping they change afflictions to set resistances, and then they like turn down like affliction edge a little bit, not a lot, but like characters will still have it and it'll still be useful, and like maybe Delphi can still like poison like all the time or like 90% of the time or something. But like afflictions as they are, like I don't know, it's kind of reached a point where like the Agito fights are long enough where relying on an affliction just isn't viable. So affliction meta is still good for short fights, but it's not very good for long fights. So, let's see. They're gonna make the weapon system much easier to understand. I really want custom weapons where like we can make like a void weapon, and then we can make like another weapon, and then we can make like kind of a shell weapon and like attach other weapons to it, so we can get like the stats of one weapon, the skill of one weapon, and like the abilities of another weapon. So like imagine a weapon with the stats and skill of an Agito weapon with something like Slayer strength from a Void weapon. Alright. Yeah, so it's not just that there are too many weapons, is that there are too many useless weapons. Like, most of the Void weapons you don't use. And a lot of them you use, like, maybe once. Like, I haven't played a Void battle in, like, over a month. We really need Void Endeavors back, because, like, those are a good way to get Wormite, those are a good way to get resources, like, just incentive, like, something to do, like, give me tasks. Like, I play the game to expend my resources in hopes that something better comes down the line, and something better is coming down the line, which would be Anniversary, but it's still kind of boring in between. Yeah, so, yeah, you don't touch Void battles outside Endeavors, and, like, that's the thing. If we don't have the option to play Void battles anymore, how are we gonna get Squishums? I have 6 Squishums, by the way. I got 4 Squishums in 2 days. It was pretty intense. Alright, let's see what the chat has to say. I've been kind of glancing at it while I've been talking. Let's see. You can skip most of the core weapons too. Well, the core weapons are required for dragon weapons, and yeah, you can skip those because you do have to make the Manticore weapon and the Chimera weapon before you can make the Agito weapon, and you have to make the Void Dragonbane weapon and the 5-star core weapon before you make the Dragon weapon. The Dragonbane Void weapon, I mean, is the prerequisite. I have at least a 0 unbound copy of all 40 core 5-star weapons. So, how do I rank the Agito fights in order? Well, it depends on the ranking criterion, like personal favorites, difficulty, like, I don't know. Cayenne's probably on the bottom because he's the easiest. Tartarus still has the new fight bias going on. Ciela, I think, I thought about it a little bit, and I think Ciela's my favorite. It's a nice balance of easy to understand mechanics as well as duration of fight. Like, even with a 3 Hawk to buy a speed clear, the fight still takes a little bit to clear. So I think Ciela is probably my favorite in terms of design. The twins are pretty cool too. Yeah, I think the twins, like, having 2 targets in phase 1 is a nice change. And then, like, let's see. Volk is also a well-designed fight, if hard. Volk is a bit harder specifically because of the tornadoes he summons that, like, follow players around, because when he does 4 of those at once, it's very hard to coordinate, and that can kill people very easily. And, like, even if it doesn't kill someone outright, if it hits the healer gets stunned, and then it might be over. And then, yeah, Cayenne's just a bit easy. Tartarus, I like Tartarus. Tartarus is a fun fight. Master Volk is a joke. Well, you know, we have Marth. Even if they do, like, mod rebalancing, if they don't touch Marth's kit, he'll still be good. Yeah, because now it was, like, day 2 of Tartarus coming out, and, like, the shadow units were just getting in there, and I'm like, I give it, like, 1 day before Marth enters the meta. Because, like, last boost is just way too strong. And, like, I'm going to credit, I think it was Foundry I was listening to earlier, posted a video today where he talks about how you can stick Ramiel, a max unbound Ramiel, on a Grace Helper and run that on Marth. Use the Grace Helper skill and get your life shield. You activate last boost and get all your skills. You use all your skills. You then have 50% Dragon Gauge from Ramiel. You Dragon as Mars. You use skill twice. You end your Shapeshift, and you get all your skills back. Like, it's pretty insane. So, that's good for some big burst damage, I guess. But, I'm not sure where, like, end game players would use that. Like, maybe if you find a really super cheese strat for high dragon trials, I guess. But, yeah, like, new players will probably get more use out of that as they're doing stuff. You know, I actually decided a couple days ago, it's like, I don't need to do Elemental Ruins for my dailies. I have so many orbs. And then, like, yesterday I remembered, oh, shoot, Elemental Ruins is where I get Rainbow Orbs. And I have, like, 3 of those left. So, starting to do those again. But yeah, that's it for this. It's been covered to death. I'm not the news person. Other people are the news person. I'm the haha funny how to play guy, and also the music guy, and also the lore guy, and literally all that stuff except the news. And also game design when I feel like it. Speaking of game design, next on my notes is the predictions for anniversary. So I'm just gonna rapid fire off all the expected ones, because like I looked over the last Dragalia digests, and like we get like the standard stuff. We got a login bonus. My prediction for the mini dragon for this one is mini Brunhilde. No particular reason, because all we have left is Brunhilde, Mercury, and Jupiter. I'm just thinking Brunhilde is going to be like the second anniversary one, since like the two biggest dragons in the story are Midgard, who's the face of the game, and Brunhilde, who is like more of a character than any of the rest of the Great Worms. So like we got Mini Zodi for the half anniversary, the 1.5 anniversary, and I'm thinking like on the first and second anniversary we get the big ones. First the face of the game, and then like the big character in the game, which would be Brunhilde. Excuse me. So I'm thinking maybe Jupiter for third anniversary and Mercury for 1 or 2.5. Let's see. We're gonna get other paid materials in the login bonus, like Damascus ingot, maybe a 6-star ingot, maybe. We're almost certainly gonna get a Sunstone, and then like a Champion's Testament or more than that. I don't know, whatever. Let's see. We're gonna get free summons in some form or other, be it like a daily tenfold, a daily summon, or just a ton of Wormite. Because I think like for like the first anniversary, we got like 5,000 Wormite on the first day, but then like for second anniversary or something, we got like daily free tenfolds. So it's gonna happen one way or the other. We're just gonna a bunch of free stuff. There might be a retweet campaign. I'm not sure. We haven't had one of those in quite some time. I'm hoping we do, because it's just free stuff. Even if it like doesn't get all the way up to the goal, like I'm pretty sure the last one didn't. Goodness knows this game needs more marketing, and I want more free stuff. So yeah, I wrote down Gala Xena or Gala Audric are my top 2 guesses for reasons that I explained earlier. We're definitely gonna get some sort of paid banner, be it a platinum banner or a dream summon. I know a lot of people want a Gala dream summon, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I think we'll get a Gala platinum, maybe like 2 separate showcases like they did before. But I don't think we're getting a Gala dream summon. We might get a regular dream summon. So, who knows? Let's see, we're definitely getting anniversary packs. I guarantee one of them will cost $80 US currency. We'll probably get triple drops on some of the daily things like Dragon Trials and Imperial Onslaught, you know, the other stuff that veterans don't need but that new players will love. I guess like, because one of the things I've been told is you can use like the drops from Imperial Onslaught to trade for worm prints, like the Great Worm prints in the Void, in the Imperial Onslaught treasure trade, and then you sell those for Eldwater. And while yes, that is an effective and possibly very quick way to get Eldwater if you've never done it before, but the other thing is what happens when we get level 40 dojos and you suddenly need those materials. Oh yeah, triple drops for Rainbow Orbs, definitely gonna be nice for the 1 in 3 runs where you actually get Rainbow Orbs. They're probably gonna do another social reward reset. So that's like 2,500 Wormite, I think. And then I'm pretty sure last year they gave us like 10 free days of, no, it was a certain number of days, I can't remember how many it was, free item summons, like 6 free item summons per day instead of 1. Which wasn't like amazing or anything, but it was nice. And like this time it would give us like extra chances for like hustle hammers for whatever those aren't worth. Gosh, I have 800 hustle hammers that I don't even use. Like I could hustle like some facilities right now and I just don't because I'm not in a rush. But yeah, it'll give us more chances at the 1 million rupees now that our rupee cap is increased, or like the 100,000 mana that I'm still not going to use because I have more than enough of that. We're probably going to get new stickers. I'm really hoping that the Fractured Futures rerun has some stickers in it, maybe one featuring Audric. And then we might get new mana spirals. I know a lot of people are hoping for Gala mana spirals. And what I'm thinking they might do instead is when they rebalance the game, they might just shadow buff all of the previous Gala units. Like, because obviously they want to make them desirable, right? And like, there's two ways to do power creep in a game like this. One is direct power creep, where units are just like better versions of previous units, be it like a DPS that does more DPS, or a buff bot with higher buffs, like Noelle to Tobias. But there's a second way to do power creep, in that the unit isn't stronger or worse than the previous unit, they just play differently. And then of course there's the summon for pretty girl type summoning that I don't partake in at all. So I guess that's technically the third one, but like it has nothing to do with design of the game or like game balance. So, but with that, like the if they intend to balance the game, they're probably gonna have to start doing a lot more design and new mechanics and whatnot to make things more interesting. And like, I'm down for new mechanics as long as they mesh with old ones. Like, energy was not a bad idea for a mechanic. It was just never really implemented well until Thor came out. Because like, energy on its own takes too long to build. But then like, energy with extra buffs. Like what Thor does is he gives energy a secondary effect, where a single level of energy is worth 20% strength. Because it's not linear for his 45% strength buff. The first one gives 20%. So I'm glad that energy finally has a place, though. It's been a very long time for it to finally happen. But yeah. So I'm not sure if the gala units will get mana spirals so much as they might just get their mods upped, kind of like they did with Nobunaga that one time. And like they'll probably just rebalance everything with their version update, because like they said it's going to be the biggest version update ever, and like we've had some pretty big version updates before, so I'm expecting a lot out of this. All right, now as far as my less predictable predictions go, we're getting a new raid. So in the past I have theorized about an event where instead of going to the future like Fractured Futures, we instead go to the past in an alternate reality, of course, where we can mess up the timeline without any consequences for the main story. But like, Yuden goes into an alternate timeline 300 years in the past and teams up with Alberius, and that world's Cleo, who like has no idea who he is, so they can have like a whole character relationship there. And like they team up together, and they team up to fight Morsayati, the other. And like the raid is against the other. And then there's like a special raid with like Morsayati Nyx or whatever. I think that'd be really fun. But it says yeah, so yeah, the new they said that the second anniversary event though is more likely to tie into the main story and like after chapter 15. So Chapter 15, if it was specifically Chapter 15, it would focus on something like the Agito. But I'm thinking like if they're going to go back into, if it's going to play off Fractured Futures as well, then it's probably going to play more off of Chapter 14 and Xena's timeline. The problem is like, how canon is it going to be, and what are the lasting consequences? Because Fractured Futures did a rather interesting thing where it managed to expand the lore of the game, but have no narrative consequences for the main campaign. Like if that's why Fractured Futures canonicity is in question, because we don't know. Like you could have Fractured Futures, or you could not have Fractured Futures, and the rest of the story would be completely untouched. I'm gonna take a quick water break. Okay, I have ingested the water. Now back to talking. But yeah, so the question is like, will the event this year like be canon to the main story? Will it forcibly be canon, or will it be another no consequences story? I'm fine with the no consequences story as long as we do get more lore details, like some big ones. But like I do think it'd be like interesting if like it was canon to the main story, because they also mentioned that they're planning on bringing raid events to the event compendium. So the problem with this is if they made it like canon to the main story, everyone would have to know about it to get what's going on in chapter 16. So they'd have to add this story to the event compendium as a raid really, really shortly after its release, which is just bad release design. So I don't think that's going to happen. Either way, like, the other thing is, with Fractured Futures, the story itself was kind of short, kind of small. Like, I'm not gonna spoil it because the rerun's coming up, and I don't want to spoil it for people, and I've already spoiled it to death in the past. But, like, the events of the story, like, the events themselves are larger, but much fewer. So, and I do like some of the plot twists, like, what happens with Kronos in, like, the last thing, how they actually defeat him. I thought that was really cool. And it actually tied into, like, Audric's adventurer story and, like, the continuation of that plot, because it's its own self-contained story. And I think that's really cool, because, like, Fractured Futures, Audric's story, like, it tells a narrative. And, like, it's really tragic, but at the same time, that's something they don't do with the main campaign, is they can't, like, make it tragic like that. So, I'm looking forward to that. Let's see. Oh, this one. Yeah, I don't think there's really anything else to talk about here. I don't like the light focus and the elemental focus showcases. They lock new players out of the rest of the roster, specifically Shadow right now, which hopefully won't be a problem for too much longer, but it is a problem right now. And, like, not just that, but, like, you got, like, maybe a fifth of the roster in there, and you just don't have access to the rest of them. So, like, I get that we have, like, the 3 stars for free, but, like, it means, like, you really can't get into any of the more advanced content without investing in 3 stars for a while. And, like, I don't think a light focus... I think a light focus on its own is bad. I think a light focus not on its own is not bad. Like, if it was a side grade banner to, like, another banner, it would be fine. Because, like, say, like, someone has a lot of all the different units except specifically whatever element is running, then, like, I think that a focus showcase is a fine thing to summon on, because you're more likely to get new stuff. Because the game's reaching its 2nd anniversary, and they release new units, like, every, 2 weeks or so? Less than that? So, they, the pool keeps getting more and more, like, full of things, and it's harder and harder and harder to pull off focus. So, like, even then, like, within a focus showcase, if you have almost everything, like, the only light unit I'm missing is Yukata Kuren. I'm pretty sure I have, like, the rest of them. So, on the last light focus banner, I didn't summon at all because I had all of the things. And then Yukata Kuren's been added since then, and I just don't have him. So, and yes, the turning on my webcam is a marketing stunt to get more people to watch my live stream. But, like, I don't expect to actually hit 100, to be honest. I am excited for it. If I hit 100, I am very excited to turn on my camera, but I honestly don't expect it to happen, because I think last stream I did actually get up to 80, so I knew it was in the realm of possibility, but, like, still not sure. I don't know. I've always felt, as far as Dragalia Lost YouTubers go, I'm one of the lesser known ones. Even though, like, I don't know, because the other thing is, if I look at my statistics, my sub count hasn't increased for a whole month. Like, it's been stagnant. So, like, the people that know me, and then, like, other people just don't care, because the kind of content I make isn't for people in general who play the game. Like, I've seen several other YouTubers rise and who are going to surpass me in the next couple months, and I'm just going to sit over here and be like, okay, have a new how to play. But that's okay, because I'm having fun with it. Yep. I have hit capacity. Time to move on to other things. Moving on my list of predictions. Let's see. So yeah. The encyclopedia, good gracious, it's been a year. It was announced last anniversary. Everyone's wondering where it is. Like, I'm sure it shouldn't be that hard to implement, because, like, I'm sure there's already variables in the game to say what we have and what we don't. Like, the crafting criterion for, like, dragon weapons, for instance. We need to have, like, a variable set to say, like, okay, we've crafted these in the past. Will I play Fire Emblem Heroes? No. I played it in the past. I never really got attached to it. And I promised myself I would never play another gacha again. Let's see. Yeah, I think afflictions need to rework in terms of how they're balancing the game. Another thing they might do is let me bring up the damage formula real quick. Let me find it. It's around here somewhere. Here it is. All right, so this is the damage formula. As I believe that this is not like confirmed, but it should be pretty close as far as things go. And so in here, the elemental modifier, see below. So if it's neutral, it's a value of 1. If we have advantage, it's 1.5, and disadvantage is 0.5. So basically, because Shadow deals more than 1.5 times as damage as other units, they're better than on-element damage. So what they could do is that they could change this to 2, 2.5, or 3. The other thing is opening blasts. If people remember when those were threatening in High Dragon Trials before they got nerfed, those were a way of keeping units on element. Because where Shadow excels in damage above all other elements, they don't exceed an HP. Like, because units typically cap out about like 3,000 HP right now, I think. So, like, if you have something that deals like 2,500 damage in an opening blast, an on-element will survive by taking half damage, but like a neutral element will take full damage, and an off element will take 3 times as much damage as an on element. So, yeah. Because yeah, this works against us too. If the enemy has disadvantage against us, we take half damage. A neutral element takes twice as much damage as an on element. So like, say like Hildegard in Tartarus will take a certain amount, but like, let's say Cleo, with like, I don't know, without her defense ability, will take twice as much, assuming like all defensive stuff is the same. So, yeah, that's how that goes. So I think they might just change the elemental modifier. That could help a little bit. And then they'd also need to update the bosses and like fights a little bit to kind of rebalance around that. But yeah, the rest of this is pretty simple. Like damage spread doesn't matter, dragon damage doesn't matter, Punisher mods or whatever, 4 strike damage is whatever, skill damage is whatever, crit modifier. Like all these things are not element specific except for the elemental modifier. And then like you have some units that are just never gonna like get power crept. Like no matter what they do, unless they touch Cleo's kit, she'll never be bad because she can increase the team's strength by 25% and reduce the enemy's defense by 10% for 30 seconds, if I remember correctly, which is a lot. Like that's just huge. Like 4 Gleo will always have a place in a lot of fights. Even if it's not a viable clear comp, like Gleo can slot in almost anywhere and be a good support and a half decent DPS. So that being said, Ancient Ray is probably one of the most utilitous, pure damaging skills in the game because it can hit multiple targets. You don't have to aim it. It deals splash damage, and it can hit things at range. It's very utilitous for a purely damaging skill. It's my favorite skill in the game, as any of my How to Play watchers will be very familiar with. Let's see. Yep, so what's next? I think during the Dragalia Digest, they'll give us a glimpse of what they're planning next for Endgame. That's what they did last year with Volk. Is they gave us a glimpse at the Agito. Like, we didn't get... They didn't call it the Agito Uprising until December, I think, when we got another Dragalia Digest. But, like, we got a glimpse at the Agito Uprising. And we saw Volk, and we saw the silhouettes of everyone else. And it's rather interesting because the twins and Tartarus both got minor redesigns in their character portraits. Tartarus's design change was very minor. Like, it was just like a few pieces of his armor, but the twins are like in a completely different pose than their silhouette used to be. Let's see. I was looking through the oh yeah, so I'm thinking the sibling fights might be next. Cause like I think Leonidas might be first after the next chapter. Well, maybe, I don't know. Because like he's obviously listed in like the next chapter, so we might have Leonidas and Shell and Valix, Emil, and then Fares. Because like it's still kind of hard to tell who like the main antagonist is. And like Harl's also like a wild card in this. So we have Fares and Baron, we have Harl, we have the Agito, and we have Morsayati. Morsayati's kind of been defeated, but I wouldn't be surprised if he came back if Baron gets defeated. But like, I'm not gonna spoil the thing, but when I mention Harl, certain people will know what I'm talking about. In terms of recent happenings. So I think they're definitely going places with that plot thread. Let's see. I was looking through the previous Dragalia digests. They might do another prize showcase. They had one of those with the first set of mana spirals, which were announced at the first anniversary. So, and then the collab announcements. And I know people are gonna ask me, what collab do I think is coming? It's like my biggest money is on Capcom something or other, just because like both Monster Hunter and Mega Man were Capcom. I think the only other Capcom game I'm familiar with is Okami. So put me down for that one. But like, I know a lot of people are hoping for like Legend of Zelda or like something like really like Nintendo like that. So, but like, Cygames is only really licensed by Nintendo. Like they get to put Nintendo's name on the game, and that's pretty much what Nintendo does. Did I draw that intro? You mean the thumbnail on how to play Flare? Yes, I drew that in MS Paint. I pulled up a picture of Flare's gameplay art, and then I drew it myself. The thumbnails with the hand-drawn things are the ones I put the most effort into. Otherwise, it's just generic background, character PNG, title. Was it hard? No, it was just time-consuming. Like, a picture's a picture. Like, pixels fall in certain places, and you just place them. Like, obviously, there's more art to it than that. But on a base level, that's what it is. I can make just about... I can redraw basically any picture. It just won't look the same, and it probably won't look as good as it. But, like, I can recreate... and like, I can recreate any art pixel by pixel. It would just be really time-consuming. So... Monster Hunter Part 2 would be cool, yep. I know a lot of people wanted some of the characters on Wormprints. Oh, that's another point, is that, like, I know people, like, see characters on Wormprints and want them as alts, but as far as the game is concerned, that is the alt. Like, the game only has so much resources to make, like, different characters and whatnot as the actual models and the kits and, like, the things they release. So what they do instead to give more characters time to shine is they make Wormprints, which show off, like, characters and outfits and stuff. So, like, even though we didn't get, like, Hunter Gerota, they give him a Wormprint. And, like, we never would have known about it or had any idea about it without the Wormprint, but the Wormprint, like, gives us a glimpse at Hunter Gerota, even if he's never going to be a playable character. Anime Crawl. I don't think they'll do Attack on Titan. That's, kind of way out of theme with Dragalia Lost. How about the non-alts on the Wormprints? You mean, like, characters that are on Wormprints that we don't have yet? I mean, yeah. So we got units like Lee. There's that unit on Braving the Unknown. I'm not sure who that is. But yeah, I could see them being units one day. Xenoblade. There could be a Xenoblade one. I'm not sure entirely how they'd like do it narratively, but it's possible. Let's see. Yeah, still no. Yeah, the Lance Prince. It's not terrible. Shadow Res isn't bad. It's just we have that on Chain Coobs now, and we don't really need it for survival anymore. But yeah, Resounding Rendition is typically better than the just straight up 40% skill damage for Lance. As far as Blades needing a Wormprint, like, it'd be nice to have one specifically for them, but I'm not sure which one they benefit the most from, like, be it like skill damage or critical rate or something like that. So, And plus, like, if we got a Blade Worm print, I might not be happy about it, because if that just becomes the catch-all worm print for all blades, it kind of nerfs creativity, which sucks a little bit. Unit evolutions or some sort of visual progression. Okay. I had this idea the other day to encourage players to play different units more. Is to, like, so kind of like how with, like, dragons, you can go to the Dragon's Roost and you give them gifts and you level up their trust and you get stuff in return at certain milestones. I think it'd be cool if we had something like that, and like something we got alongside character XP when we played a character, is like, we kind of leveled up that character, and like as they leveled up, they got like slight stat improvements, nothing really notable, but like we get things back from them, like maybe like a Damascus crystal, or maybe like, I don't know, something like that, maybe a golden key, like just something to help our collection along. And like maybe different characters could have different gifts, but it would give us some incentive to just play something that isn't just the meta all the time. Because like, I don't know about you, but I tend to play one, maybe two characters in endgame fights. Like, I play Nobunaga, Marth, and Lowen in Volk pretty much exclusively. In Kaiyan, I play Jotun or Galax, depending if I'm sniping rooms or not. And sometimes I play Fort. And then in Ciela, I play pretty much Hawk or Tobias. In Twins, I actually have the most variation. I play Valerio, Summer Estelle, Gala Elisan, and I just built Pinun for fighting in that fight, but I haven't done it yet. And then in Tartarus, I played pretty much exclusively Hildegard, just because I like playing healer. It's very safe. Is it Fort or Forte? I believe the official pronunciation is Forte, but Fort is fewer syllables, and I like less syllables, and people still know what I'm talking about, and they are a fictional character and cannot contest. Now, if the devs send me a message and tell me it's pronounced Forte, I will pronounce it Forte every time. Kind of want to see Cygames make a collab between its own properties and DL. I mean, they kind of don't do a full collab with their own stuff. Like, we got stuff from Knights of Glory, we got stuff from Rage of Bahamut or whatever. We got like Albert and Urius and Lily and Lee and Emma and whatever. So, like, they kind of just add their own units in as full-on units. You just got here, what's happening? I don't know. I ran out of discussion topics, so I'm just chatting with chat. We're nowhere close to 100 viewers. I don't think we're gonna make it. That being said, I have faith in you. I have anime protagonist levels of optimism at all times of the day, and I believe in you. Even though you as an individual can do nothing more than a single count. Technically speaking. Well, physically speaking. Digitally speaking? One of those. What's a collab I don't want? Five Nights at Freddy's. No, I don't want you to advertise me. I am very much against self-advertisement. It's probably one of the reasons my channel is stagnating, because I don't advertise myself. Because I don't like bragging, and I don't like self-promotion. I only share my stuff because I think people would enjoy it. And only in specific places like community content channels on Discords. That being said, if any of you take my stuff and shove it in other people's faces, that's not a good way to market. Let's see. Yes, I do play Minecraft. I did play Minecraft. I was playing Sky Factory 2.5, and I was like live streaming on my Discord server in the voice chat. And I've kind of run out of things to do. So advertising isn't bragging. Yeah, but like it's kind of I kind of loop them together in the same boat, as I don't like to talk about myself and my accomplishments and like other stuff, because like, yeah, I have this YouTube channel and it's doing well, but like I don't like to talk about it to other people because I don't want to come off as bragging. And like, I also don't like to self-promote because I know like a lot of people don't like ads, because like I see other YouTubers like, oh, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell, and I'm just like, okay, good for you, grow your channel, I'll be over here. And like, I've decided to never put ads on my how to plays, because if I put a 15-second ad on a 3-minute video, that's a 13th of the video right there, and that just sucks. Yeah, I only think people should subscribe if they want to. Like, it's just a number at the end of the day. And as far as I can tell, no one actually knows what the like button does. And YouTube has already discovered that I'm probably never going to monetize my channel and has decided to not market me to literally anyone. So... thoughts on the XP required to get units from level 80 to 100. I just spent all of my gold crystals to get Estelle to level 100, and I'm now out of them. It's a lot, but I think it's worth it. I think it's like... well, because here's the thing. You're not supposed to spiral everyone. Everyone's just out of champion testaments, and I'm just over here with 30 champion testaments, spiraling whoever I kind of want to. Because, like, if I want to spiral someone, I don't do it immediately. I'm like, do I really need to spiral this person? Like, yes, I like Lucretia. She's a good unit. But, like, I'm not going to spiral her because that's, like, she's 50 MC, so, like, 5 champions testaments, 4 or 5 champions testaments just down the drain. Excuse me. Yeah, I have 30 golden papers, like, and like, yes, I bought some in the past, but I've also like spiraled units recently, and I have consistently kept 30 papers over the past 2 months. So I've been using them about as fast as we get them, because like, you don't need to spiral everyone. Like, when we get the spirals, like, you need to consider who you're going to invest in. And like, yeah, you can like a character, and that's a good reason to invest in them and play them. But if the spiral doesn't help them, then don't do it. You don't need to spiral Xander. It doesn't make him that much better. It does make him better, but not that much. Karina, for instance, is a unit that gets a lot better with her spiral, and she's cheaper. Patsia gets a lot better with her spiral, and she's cheaper. Like... so there's things like that, and then like, you have spirals like Lin Yu, for instance. If Lin Yu's your favorite character, yeah, she gets better with her spiral, but like, do you really need to? Like, oh yeah, Vice is I'm actually considering spiraling Vice just because it'd be cheap. Like, the thing that's stopping right now is the 73,000 Eld water it would take to do it. So, yeah, that's what's stopping me. Yeah, like 3 stars are so cheap. Like, as soon as I verified that Estelle didn't get like worse with her spiral, like SP costs didn't go up, like her built-in SP costs didn't change. Her shared skill went up by 600 SP, but it's still cheaper than other regen skills, and it's now as good in recovery potency as Halloween Lowen's, and it's still like 2 or 3k SP cheaper, even though Lowen's has a defense buff. In terms of recovery skills, I have, as shared skills, Estelle, Halloween Lowen, Verica, and Hildegard, and Cleo. And most of those have like similar effects. So Hildegard cleanses Curse with minor regen. Verica's cleanses Stun with good regen. Halloween Lowen's gives the defense buff with good regen, and Estelle's just gives regen. However, I don't always need Stun Cleanse, I don't always need Curse Cleanse, and Estelle's is cheaper. So I can run like Estelle's skill and Lowen's skill, and then I have 2 really good healing skills. Halloween Lowen's alright. Very, very solid healer. I have a video entitled Misery. If you want to know about my relationship with Halloween Lowen, I'd recommend checking it out. I believe it was my first of the Summon Summary series. Yeah, I understand liking your very first unit. My first unit was Orion. His shared skill, if I remember correctly, has a shared cost of 4, which is kind of cheap now that I have 15 Shadow Tomes. When are we gonna get Water Tomes and Wind Tomes? We've gotten like 5 of those from like this month, 1 or 2 months ago, and that's it. We haven't seen like any since. We've seen Shadow Tomes, Light Tomes, and a few Flame Tomes. That's it. It's like, Cygames, if you want to tell us that Shadow is not overpowered, stop giving us Shadow Tomes. Yep. So, like, Orion wasn't just, like, my first non-3 star. He was my first gacha. Like, if I sort by unit, there's the Prince, and then there's Orion. So. And he inflicts blind, which is pretty cool. So. He was also my first experience of units in Dragalia Lost. I'm like, are they all like this? And then I think, like, Arian was, like, one of the first healing units I got. And it was like, these units are weird. So. That was back before I knew what a gacha was, and I was playing Dragalia Lost and just trying to figure everything out. Kind of just going through the story and experiencing it. What do I eat? Food. Okada said that the devs like Cleo. I thought Okada said that Okada liked Cleo. And shortly after he became the director, we got Gala Cleo, and then 2 banners later, we got Summer Cleo. Let's see. I mean, one thing is if they like view Dragalia Lost as one of their less profitable properties, they can afford to experiment a little bit with rebalancing and see if it gets received well. I don't know if it is one of their less profitable properties, but like they're definitely gonna try something. And I think at the end of the day, it's just gonna be a change. Kind of like how dodge rolls were. It's like a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, it's the worst thing ever. And a lot of people are like, I think this is a positive change. And I was just sitting here like, they're just changing the game. This is not gonna change anything. And then they made everything purple. Yeah, you know? Cygames needs to hire me. Well, I've kind of let my Japanese practice fall off over the past few months after college. I just didn't keep up with it. And there's already still the theory that I am the Cygames mole that's reporting back all the things that the community says to the devs. Although I can debunk that it's not true. That being said, I'm not saying it isn't a true theory. I'm just saying it's not me. Do I eat chips? That depends. Which country are you asking in? Because it means different things in different countries. Let's see. Just got back to autoing the facility events. I actually don't really auto the facility events. I auto the boss battle, but like I play through the challenge battle manually. Although I do it on 1.2 times speed. And then I just optimize the screen tapping and movements. America? So potato chips. Sometimes. How do you think Cygames Nintendo can make this game more mainstream? I don't know. Market it more? Literally just get some ads out there, I guess? Like, I've maybe once in the 2 years this game has been out seen an ad for it. Yeah, I mean, like, people, it's the same thing with the new fight bias. It's like, oh my gosh, fight's out, it's so hard. And like 2 weeks later, people just not talking about it anymore. Because the fight's not actually hard. It's like, the dodge roll came out, it's like, oh my gosh, it's so busted, so broken. And it's you know, it's just, forget about it. Like, it's just kind of melded into the game. It's a mechanic. So, and like, does it make old fights easier? Maybe a little. But like, there's a trade-off between dodging and attacking. It breaks combo. And like, you have to dodge anyway, but like, you have to dodge anyway. Dodge roll's just a new option to do that. Like, so what? Do I have a cat? Yes, I have 2 cats, Luca and Milo. Luca has no relation to Dragalia Lost. He was named that before the game released. Am I thinking about playing Genshin Impact? No, I've been told it is a gacha, and I do not play gachas other than Dragalia Lost. After the last director said to get to about another game, I think it's more marketing would be negatives from the community. Well, I mean, they need to do something. Like, yeah, like the last director insulted a gacha, but I mean, I've insulted a gacha. I've insulted all of the gacha. Well, I guess that doesn't make it personal, but you know, because Dragalia Lost is even included in that. Anyway. Do I have a Switch? Yes, I have a Switch right in front of this nice monitor to my left that I have it hooked up to that I haven't touched in months. Oops. I got you. You got to pay full cost for it. I mean, Like, one of the gacha systems I actually like is the way it's handled in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, where, like, the game has a gacha system, and your game progression is mostly what limits your access to it, and you can eventually get everything out of it. And I know, like, a real gacha wouldn't do that, and, like, the gacha model basically plays off of ongoing content. They keep adding something new, and they make money by limiting your ability to get into it and playing off low chances. I don't like that model at all. So if I ever made a gacha game, it would have different ways of monetization, and the gacha itself, you would only have the free resource. That's it. That's all you get. Spend it wisely. It's like if there was Dragalia Lost but no Diamantium, you only had Wormite and summon vouchers. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 gacha is good until you try pull Cosmos. Yeah. I mean, you can raise your chance of Cosmos to 0.3%. Hey, that's almost as good as a 5-star in Dragalia Lost. Any game recommendation for Switch? Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition and Xenoblade Chronicles 2. You can play them in any order. They're both great. Which other ones do I play? Breath of the Wild is my other favorite one. Let's see. Skins. I think I talked about it on my last live stream. Unique skins are harder to make, and those just turn into alts because they take development time. What they could do is recolors. Recolors would probably take a lot less time. I know some people would buy them, but maybe not a lot of people. Like, it might not be worth the development time. I don't know. It's an economic trade-off. Have I beaten every shrine in Breath of the Wild? Yes. I am not hunting down every Korok seed. It's not worth my time. I'm not 100% player. I am a play for fun player. You want to play Xenoblade 2, but it's too anime for you? I mean, I guess. It is pretty anime, but, like, it's also not a bad anime. Like, only a couple of the characters are outright unlikable, and I don't think it's any of the main cast. Like, every character gets their time to shine. And, like, has their role to play. What's the most creative set you've seen in DL? I don't understand the question. Like, you mean kit? Let me look at my options. I actually talked it over on Orthodox's channel when we talked about the Flame tier list, that Marth's kit. A good kit is one that has lots of cohesion. Like, the different parts benefit one another. Like, Xander, for instance, is a very cohesive kit. He's got a 4-strike passive and Striker Strength, which work well together. And then with Striker Strength, he gets buffs, which power up his skill 1. So I think that's a very cohesive kit. But Marth is a unit with no kit cohesion, and yet every piece of his kit is individually good. I'm also looking at this and looking at Lee. If they did a Lee spiral, what they should do to make her skill 2 a little bit better, there's no salvaging that really, but if they want to make it a little bit better, make it kind of like the Pokemon move Bide, where when you use it, any damage you take until you use it again will fill up a meter, and when the meter is full, it's capped out, and then you can use the skill again to reflect all the damage you've taken in between. It's not great, but it's better. It's just an idea I had. Let's see, Naveed has a fun kit. See, Galaxy has a custom combo. That's about it. Catherine has just hilarious her standard combo. Valerio is that I really like Valerio because of his stances. I'd call that one of the more unique kits because he has like 3 different standard attack patterns and they all do different things. Like, one of them is a high hit count, one of them has high SP gain, and the other one is somewhere in between. Meant a Wormprint or team kit? I still don't understand the question. Um, Halloween Mim. Yeah, the characters with unique dragon forms are pretty cool. I think it's rather interesting with Lothna, because Lothna does not have horns or a tail, which means she's not a dragon, but she still turns into Nyarlathotep. So I think that's rather interesting lore-wise, because it means Lothna is not inherently a Nyarlathotep, but is like a chosen one of the Nyarlathotep or something, or maybe a chosen one of the ancient one, which gives her a Nyarlathotep form. Like, it's rather interesting. Like, obviously, like, the actual white Nyarlathotep shows her form in Accursed Archives, but then in Stirring Shadows, she had no reason to be a Nyarlathotep. Like, because the girl was completely disassociated from the dragon. So, I think that's a rather interesting lore bit. And then you have units like Tartarus, who I hear he broke off his horns and cast them aside, which is why his human form doesn't have horns. Although, that being said, his dragon form only has one broken horn, so you know. I think the new Sigil released characters are interesting. Pinan's really interesting in that she changes playstyle halfway through your game, going from like a 4-strike unit like Hunter Cerise to a standard attack unit. And it's interesting, like, you can try and build her for a little bit of both, or like a lot of one or the other. So, depends on how long the fight is. Do I think if Golemim gets a 7 she shall Dragon Drive like Tiki? I do not. I don't think they'll change her in that monumental of a way, because that would require changing one of her abilities. Well, would it? So I think one of her abilities gives her the unique dragon form. Yeah, so they could do it, but I honestly don't think they will. I mean, maybe they should. Maybe she'd like play better like that, but I think she's more likely to get a Dragon Drive ult. You wish Pinan could unlock her sigil a bit faster? Well, get 4-striking. The new facility event's interesting. It's interesting that the units are from the city of Graham, and how that got mentioned in the previous interlude. So I'm kind of hoping that events do kind of tie into the main campaign. They're definitely going someplace with the Alien Church, which is interesting to me in particular, because I'm interested to learn more about like how they're going to portray it, as well as the different things. Like Gala Alex's story reveals that some of the Perditionists want to like kill Elisan or something, because she like holds the key to perdition or something. And then Azazel's dragon story reveals that the Alien Church actually tried to execute the Auspex for like knowing quote unquote the secret of God or something. And like the other angels tried to like kill her. So like my question is like, how many angels are there? Like there are 5 archangels we know from Agents of the Goddess, but like are there like other angels that aren't archangels? Like and like I was initially like a bit skeptical on the use of the term apostle to describe Nevin and Pinan, but it makes a little bit more sense, right? Because apostle is a term that means one who is sent. And I was like, okay, so like it'd make more sense for like inquisitors or paladins to like handle matters of the Alien Church, because apostles typically in Catholic history are ones who were sent to like preach the word of God, to like spread the word of God and to expand the religion, or like the members. So like with this, it's more of like they're still trying to do that, but they're trying to like they're going on missions for the church to like keep things in order and like make sure like they're dealing with threats with the church, which is an interesting take on it, because obviously like the Alien Church is not Catholicism, it's based on it, but I do think that's an interesting way to go. So do I like the new 4-strike? I do. Fun story, Summer Makoto does not have a attacking 4-strike, but once the fight is over, he loses all his buffs. So does everyone else. And you can 4-strike like a normal bow to open up the chests. Because, like, I believe the bow 4-strike still has a hit count of 8. And, like, I do miss the volley. I think the volley was fun. But at the same time, I think it's a necessary change. Or, not a necessary, but an acceptable change. And then you still have units like Hawk and Nefaria who still have volleys. And I think it just gives more impact to theirs. So, although I still think that the volley 4-strike doesn't really fit Hawk's character as an assassin. But, I mean, hey, if I got rained down on by 18 arrows in one spot, I'd probably die too. The interlude and character stories are written so much better than the main story. Character stories are hit or miss. One of these stories in particular, Zubaje, is an interesting one because it's framed differently as a character story. Like the presentation of it, I really liked. I don't like Zubaje as a character. He did a really like not good thing with his wife and leaving her when she had their child, and then he did it again. So, I don't really like his character, even if he does have to, quote-unquote, repay his life debt. Like, he could play it by, like, living with his family or something. Like, but, like, the presentation of the story was really good. And so, like, some character stories are really good, like Audrix definitely stands out as one of the highlights. It's a really good narrative character story with, like, a lot of character, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Investment. Like, you get invested in the characters. Let's see. What do you think of the possibility of something along the lines of 6-star dragons and adventures being released? Is there precedence for 6 stars in any of Cygame's other properties? Because, like, I mean, while they could do that, why would they? 5 stars vary in power already by a whole lot. Like, would they be harder to snipe? Would they be harder to summon? Would they have worse rates? Because if that's the case, don't sign me up. Like, leave me out of it. Like, that would suck. Because, like, you have 5-star dragons, like, the Gala ones, obviously, and then you have, like, Shinobi and Vayu, and, like, now Ramiel's looking to be half decent. And then, like, then you have 5-star dragons like Kagetsuchi and, Garuda. So, the 5-star pool, I mentioned Styx, like, the 5-star pool is really hit or miss. There's some really good ones and some really bad ones. So, I personally think that, the Prime Strength Dragons should have been 4-star. It would have made them much easier to max and bind. But, like, obviously they weren't going to do that because they only had the development resources for, say, 1 dragon, and why make it 4-star when they could make it 5? Have I checked the DPS sim recently? No, but we can do that now. Give me a moment. Alright, here's the DPS sim. It's set to light for some reason. Oh, wow. Lucretia's right up there. Impressive. See, I thought it was really funny when the DPS sim updated after Tartarus, and my 2 main light units were at the top of the DPS sim, and I'm just over here like, I've been on top of it for months and no one has known until now. So, I haven't actually built a light Agito weapon yet. I'm actually just working on the tree, and I have 4 Max Unbound Dragon Tier 2 light weapons, and I haven't actually decided which one I want to build first. I keep playing Hildegard, and I might play, like, DPS Estelle, so I might spring for, the staff first. I'm not sure. But I could also go for, the blade or the bow. But, like, the staff, the bow, the wand, and the blade are all ones I have Dragon Tier 2s for, and I kind of want to dabble into the other weapon classes a bit, just so I, like, have strong weapons for a bunch of different weapon classes. But, like, I guess I have 4, so I really don't need to, because I can still build a full team of those. Say, like, these 3 in, like, Estelle or something, or Hildegard, and then I have a full team of, like, dragon weapons, and then I can just swap those out for Agito. Because, like, the last time I did that is I had a Max Unbound Dragon Tier 2 for Hawk, but the custom sim said that the Agito weapon was just way better for Hawk, and yeah, I can see how it works. I mean, I've been running Thor on Hildegard for big DPS, so Thor's a lot of fun. His super punches are just a lot of fun to pull off. I also heard that Popstar Siren is pretty good for healers, and yeah, that makes sense too. But but Thor. Because the other thing Thor does is he energizes, and you can use that on heals. So Hildegard's skill 1 energized will full heal the entire team, like no question. As far as Estelle goes, I would love to just sit there and 4-strike, 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 because you don't need a whole lot of healing in the fight, which means I can afford to be a bit down on SP by 4-striking a whole bunch. So I haven't actually played Estelle in Tartarus yet, but I would like to. So my current plan is to run Thor on Estelle and Popstar Siren on Hildegard. I think that's a fair trade-off. Do I think Grace was a mistake? Yes and no. I think life shields could have been handled a little bit differently with like, because life shields were intended to give not HP to units that operated at low HP, so that they could stay at low HP but technically have full HP. So I think letting the life shield push full HP units way over full HP does break things a little bit. However, it has made autoing a lot easier for people who like to auto. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Also, making, like, Grace giving a lot of people, like, all sorts of HP, it's just one way to handle things. Like, if it makes clears more reliable, then it's not necessarily a bad thing. Because, like, Grace is almost mandatory, Master Kayan, because you need the spell on her 4-strike, because you need a lot of dispel, and, like, the life shield is, like, really, really potent for giving characters a lot of HP. And yeah, you can use other healers probably just fine, but, sorry, mandatory is probably not the right way to put it, but yeah, like, Grace has her place, and the fact that she's in Shadow just means she doesn't have any elemental weaknesses, and that's to her strength. What I think they should do is they should make another character like Grace in other elements. I think they should double down. If they're not going to remove Grace, I think they should add more Grace. And like, if you have like Grace and whatever this other new unit would be, I think that the maximum life shield should only be like the maximum whichever can give them. Like, you won't get 2 life shields. You'll just get 1, and whoever can give the greatest amount can raise it to that amount. And like, maybe you can like refresh it twice as often, but then you're also losing on DPS. However, what this would do is it would allow players who don't have Grace another chance at Grace. Not just another chance like when they're rate up, but when they're not rate up, it would double their odds of getting a unit that gives life shields. And like, I think the skill 1 could work like exactly the same. Like, down to 30% HP, converts everything else to life shield. Could work exactly the same. They could maybe get HP in like a different way. Maybe like they get HP from attacking the unit, so they gotta like keep attacking, and like they have life steal from their standard attacks or something. So like, they could play differently, but as long as they have the life shield, I think that would be good. Hildegard is basically reverse Grace. I think that's hilarious. What's my max might? I have no clue. It's over 40k. It's all good for noobs like me who can't solo endgame content. I mean, don't worry about soloing endgame content. I don't solo endgame content, not because I can't, although that might be part of it. It's because I don't want to. I find co-op fun. I usually don't pub. I pub if I think it's going to be reliable. Otherwise, I find people on Discord and we go play together. I'll tell you, I will tell you, my might is over 9,000. A Fleur Spiral. I don't think Fleur will get a Spiral. The purpose of Mana Spirals is to bring units who have fallen off on the DPS, like, up higher. So, like, Beautician Zardan could get one, like... Wait, is this Luca with his Spiral? That's rough, buddy. But yeah, so, like, Halloween Edward, for instance, maybe use a Spiral. Linus could use a Spiral. Like, Melora could use a Spiral. Like... Oh, Chitose's down here because my team DPS is 0. Yep, there it goes. Oh wow, Lucretia went up too. Yep, so now we got all the buffers at top because I set the team DPS way high. This Adetta one is a lie though, because you're never gonna get proximity on the entire team. You have 27 tenfold tickets? Congratulations. Those would be burning a hole in my pocket. I summon on like every banner. Nice background music. Thanks, I remixed it myself. I mean, yeah, Luca might have been... I don't know where Luca was. I don't really pay much attention to the DPS sim. Like, I'll come here like, okay, what Worm Prince do I want on Chitose? Okay. What do we got? What do we got here? Game of Cat and Boar and Castle Cheer Corp? Sounds good, and then I'll leave. Like, I don't care about the rest of this stuff. Maybe the co-abilities, but like, I don't care about the shared skills as much because I have what I have. With the co-abilities, like, I'll find, like, what's here. Like, I got Tobias, and then he wants a dagger and a bow. Cool. Cool story. Really? Lucretia wants Tobias. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, because the team buff will go from 30 seconds to, with an extra 20%. That is pretty potent. And then light damage, of course. And a blade, not skill damage. Intriguing. Yep, so. When will Log return? I don't know. True story. Let's see. Without changing more about his kit, there wasn't much that could have been improved. Yeah. With Luca, like, I was wondering what they were going to do with his first skill since that was a shared one. So yeah, they increased its power, which I think is good, and it still inflicts paralysis, which is good as a free skill. And like, it already did paralysis, so I was wondering whether they might give him Dispel or not on this skill, because we already have it on Ranzel, and I think giving us Dispel on 2 skills that are both free would be like a lot of Dispel for free, and that would be just kind of busted, especially given that the shared SP cost is a lot lower, although I'm sure it would be higher with Dispel. But then he got Dispel on his skill 2, which makes him more useful as a unit. Even though it's like still not the best, it makes runs a little bit easier in Tartarus because you can get rid of his enhancement buffs. And then Paralyzing Edge is nice. Not too many units have that, so. Luca was below Linus? That's rough. It's the How to Play music? Yeah. I remixed all the elemental themes and used them in the background of How to Plays. If you go back before my Gala Prince How to Play, I had some generic remix of Bokura on the network. Is there anything I regret buying in DL? Yacht's shared skill. I was like, okay, I'm gonna chance it. I'm gonna purchase it and hope I get apology tomes or refund tomes, and we did. All of us, regardless of whether we bought it or not. Darn it. But then we got refund tomes for Luca shared skill if we bought that and had no, we didn't even need to have Tiki, I don't think. So yeah, I got refunded on that too, but I was buying that one anyway regardless because I don't use it for Tiki. Let's see. Let's see. Hyper Elemental buff, it's really a Shadow nerf. If they're buffing literally everything but Shadow, but also buffing content, like, because they're not just, they're probably not just changing units. If they are buffing all the other units to match Shadow, that'd be one thing. But they're balancing everything around, like they're changing the content with the units so as not to like change how things play. So that's, they're really just nerfing Shadow without actually directly nerfing Shadow. Yeah, I think Water will get better down the road. Do I watch anime? Yes, I do. Nothing in particular right now. I kind of started watching Hunter x Hunter on Netflix and then just kind of stopped halfway through season 2. Yeah, it's turned into a question and answer because I have nothing left to talk about. I've already covered all my topics. Let's see. Still hoping they'll add a 6th element. The problem with adding a 6th element is then you have extreme undersaturation. And like, to start getting, like, you can't have content for it immediately because, I mean, you would want to, but then, like, you don't have enough units to fill that content yet. And then, like, with the next few banners, like, do you always release one of those new elemental units, or like do you go back to other units? And like there's only so much you can do, and like I don't know, a new element would vary it up, and like even like a new weapon class, but then therein lies the problem. It's like you have extreme undersaturation versus the current extreme oversaturation. Water got shafted with our Agito. I'm actually pleased with the Water Agito because it encourages the use of shared skills, and I like the customization. So like, water skills aren't as good as other elements, but they're only bad if you compare them to other elements, which is something that will be less of a thing after the update, hopefully. So, how to use for DPS and Volk? I've been using Marth recently just because it's fast, and I usually just go in there to burn some wings, but I prefer to play Nobunaga. She's my favorite Flame Blade right now. Aside from Makoto, who's my favorite to play, he's just not as big DPS, unfortunately, which is really, really counter to everything he stands for. So I do hope he gets a spiral and gets better. What do I want to happen in the next Master Agito? With Ciela, I hope it gets harder, honestly. Like, I just hope the fight takes like 5 or 6 minutes. Because like, I like playing the game. I don't like a 30-second gameplay experience, and I don't like a very, very stressful 9-minute gameplay experience like my first clear. Well, I guess it was kind of fun, like figuring out Tartarus. My first clear Tartarus was with some friends on Discord, and we cleared with 3 of us in a pub with 9 seconds to spare. It was a healer run, and we didn't have, of course, Agito weapons yet, or Thor. But we had 9 seconds left, and it was just like, kill him before he kills us! Go, go, go! It was so much fun. Do I like spaghetti? We have spaghetti night at my house every Sunday. Talk about the future story in the main campaign, how the Ox Clan leader could be a bad guy, or where's Elysium? Elysium's probably going to be tied to the main story. At some point. He seems like, I don't know, just some mythical thing that just kind of exists off in the distance right now. I am looking forward to the next New Year's event. Let's see. I think Lily's guaranteed freeze is a bad idea. Because, like, obviously it's very convenient to always have that guarantee. But I think that does kind of defeat the purpose of it. Like, what if we got, like, a freeze Punisher Wormprint? Because we got stunned Punisher. And we got sleep Punisher. Like, I think that should be worked into, like, the, an Affliction rework. Like, that, like, enemies have, like, say, like, a 90 or 95% resistance to, like, Sun, Sleep, and Freeze. But, like, it doesn't go up. It's just that. And then they reduce the, they reduce Hawk's stunning edge from, like, 50% to, like, something else. Or they maybe keep it at 50%. And they reduce, like, the base chance to inflict. So that, like, each time he hits, he has maybe, like, a 10% chance to stun. I think that would be a lot better, because you'd get off that stunned Punisher damage way more frequently. And even though you would stun less often, it would balance him out for a longer fight. And it would allow you to cancel things. Do you think they will release the Encyclopedia before Anniversary? Not a chance. If they're going to release it, they're going to release it for Anniversary. What place did I get for the New Year's ticket? You mean the Lucky Letters? I think my highest one was ranked 4. There's so many events on it, and on a cliffhanger. Yeah. We have some events that tie into others. Like, we got a Time-Worn Torment after Echoes of Antiquity, and we got Stirring Shadows after Accursed Archives. So I do like the events with continuing stories. It's just like, I don't know. They're pretty far apart, and there's no cohesion between events. Like, I want to see, like, Agents of the Goddess meet Accursed Archives, like kind of that thing. Like, you have like 2 competing like religious organizations, and like obviously we know both of them are real. Like, the Ancient One is an actual entity, and Ilia is an actual entity. So like, one of the things I was wondering is like, why does the Alien Church exist? What do they believe in Ilia? It's like, because in real life, Catholicism is has a basis in like an afterlife type deal. So why does the Ilian Church like preach salvation? Do they have Ilian heaven? And I can't remember who it was. Someone on one of the Discords recommended I look into Sophie's Adventurer story, which is the entire reason I did How to Play Sophie, I believe it was last week, because it gave me an excuse to go read her Adventurer story. And Sophie explains that she believes that when people die, they become mana, and like the winds move mana, and that people like the spirits of people protect those that they love as mana. And so, like, the reason the mana at the Halidam's all weird is because the spirits of those who have passed away are coming to team up with the prince on, like, fortify the Halidam and fight from, like, beyond the grave or something. I don't know, something like that. I want to see more of these events in canon, like the Syndicate and from Scars of the Syndicate. Yeah, like, we could have, like, an event with, like the Syndicate's doing, like, some horrible sacrilege, and, like, the Agents of the Goddess show up, and, like, they end up summoning, like, Nyarlathotep, and, like, boom, there you go. Super collab event. So yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool. Thoughts on the mini dragon stories? There's not really a story there. It's just kind of a cute interaction. I missed the prize banners. What do you mean banners? There was only one. Oh yeah, one prize banner. Yeah, they might do it again for this anniversary. That'd be cool. It's like a lot of people say like, oh, this banner's a bait banner, or like all banners are bait, but specifically prize banners are bait. Like, because what they did with the first prize banner is the raid up units were the units getting mana spirals, which was really good. So for people who didn't have those characters, that was a really good time to pull, unless they got Cassandra, in which case my condolences. But like there was Naveed in there, who turned out decent. He just kind of got power crept by Prince, who's cheaper to build. And then Ezlith was in there, who's really good. So, I want to see other characters on the tile screen get their Gala form? Not unless they're fully canon to the story. And I mean, they are, but like, it's not explicit like it is with the Prince. And like, even then, like, Elisande in Ciela's introduction is confirmed to be the Grand Paladin, but she's still wearing her regular outfit. Like, it's kind of like how, like, you show up to work in your uniform, but then when you're at home, you wear your casual clothes. So, like, if Ellie's going to, like, the Ilian Church, she'll probably wear her Grand Paladin getup. But, like, if she's just fighting off fiends with the Prince, she'll probably wear whatever. Because, like, the Prince chose to wear his new armor. Like, that's what he wants to be in. Like, everyone else is just kind of whatever. That being said, Laxi has no excuse not to be in her new outfit in the upcoming story. So. 500 summons for second Danny? No. Let me check my phone right now and see exactly how much summoning resource I currently have. Let's see. I have 7,355 Warmite, 9 single vouchers, and 1 tenfold voucher, and then 1,475 Diamantium, which I will probably be spending on something other than summoning because I think tomes are a better value. Turn up the music. Would the music drown me out? Okay. Linked on my YouTube channel is a link to my SoundCloud page. You can download all of my Dragalia remixes for free. Okay? Like, it's all free. Like, about a week after I upload about a week after I upload a new song, a new remix, a new parody to my channel, I will go on my SoundCloud and I will upload the lyric version and the instrumental version, and it's just totally free to download. So you can download it, you can put it on your like computer, listen to it whenever you want. Yep. But yeah, so I have a facility completed. I wonder which one it is. Let's see. It might be an altar. It's probably an altar. It's gonna laugh at me for not having any light tomes. Nope, it is my light tree, in fact, which I think I have the materials to do. Yep, it hit level 11, now it's going to level 12. Who's my favorite character to play right now? My favorite character in terms of how they play is Makoto. Probably because he's my first. I enjoy playing Gala Luca. I just enjoy Blades. Blades aren't the fastest attackers, but they're not the slowest either. Like, on several of the Discords I'm on, I have next to my name Dancing Blade because I really like how blades move when they attack. Like, they step forward and back as if they're dancing. So like I was the first Dancing Blade before Hanabusa came out. Just want to make that clear. But yeah, so like I really like the way Blades attack. And then Valerio is fun too because like he gets his custom combo, which is it's still like a slower attack pattern, but it's very unique. I do enjoy playing Hawk. Hawk is fun with his burst DPS. He's also my favorite character by design. Let's see. Alex, Laxi, and Xena stickers this digest? Maybe. Let's see, who will we get? I'm really hoping for an Audric one in Fractured Futures. Like, not as part of the anniversary, but as part of the event. As far as new stickers go, I don't know. Your Dracoliths are the only thing left? Yeah, I have my Dracoliths and my my Fafnirs, as well as some of my altars, because goodness knows Rainbow Orbs are so few and far between. I really hope they add, like, another level to the Elemental Ruins that are kind of, like, on the level of very hard in the story, because, like, it's the same amount of stamina, right? So, like, similar drops to very hard in the story. Similar difficulty, even though there aren't many enemies. And then, like, better drop rates for Rainbow Orbs. Yeah. Thoughts on Dragalia Digest for a second, Annie? Watch this stream when it uploads as a video afterwards. I already covered that. Let's see. Yeah, so I still have a couple more levels. Yeah, I still have 5 more levels on my Shadow Tree and 3 more levels on my Light Tree, as well as my Fafnir Dracoliths. And I think I've gotten, is this? Yeah, so my Shadow Altar has 3 hours left, and then I'll have my Shadow, Wind, and Flame Altars all full. Everything else is just kind of meh. So. Let's see. Yeah, everything else is pretty much done. Let's see. Do you think I might see a Gala Xena? Maybe. It's either going to be Gala Xena or Gala Audric. Leaning a little bit more towards Xena because she's the one built up in chapter 15, but I think Gala Audric would be cooler. The Cleo cleaning event? Oh gosh, the story for that was just hilarious. I like Cleaner just showing up in cleaning clothes like, clean! Also, the, don't forget that the, I believe the, Monster Hunter event also dropped a lot of Rainbow Orbs. With, like, Rathalos, I think. Said late September. So yeah, late September is anywhere after the 20th. Last year, the Dragalia Digest was on the 20th, I think. So I'm expecting it around the 20th this year. I'm also expecting that date for, Fractured Futures rerun, and then on the 20th, Fractured Futures will go for like 1 week, kind of like we got like 5 days of Fortune from Afar before Clawful Caper. So I think that's how that's gonna go for that. Yeah. So come on, guys, we're only at 65 viewers. I want to turn on my webcam. I want to do an official face reveal because then I can just have that out of the way. I mean, I could do it anyway, but, like, that sets a precedent that, like, I set, like, goals and then don't meet them. I mean, what I could do is say, like, next stream get to 70. Break my rules? No, I have standards. Let's see. Yeah, we've just crossed the 2-hour mark, and I'm kind of out of discussion topics, because that covers all the stuff I wanted to talk about. Yeah, Fractured Futures rerun is coming. No one in chat has standards. Well, I mean, like, it's not a relative bar, though. I don't base my standards on other people. I base them on an absolute basis. spaghetti sundae with the chat. I will say that I have a couple large projects in the works that should be out in the next couple weeks, including an anniversary special. Next year's New Year clan will probably be the Ox clan. Yeah, this is a remix of the New Year's theme. I made it myself. Face reveal for anniversary? No, I was hoping that would be today. Yeah, Master Seimei is the Ox Clan leader name is the name of the Ox Clan leader. And Marvelous Naoto is his retainer. Yeah, it was really funny too, cause like after Rhythmic Resolutions ended, someone pinged me on one of the Discord servers because like they couldn't find the Clawful Caper transcript on the wiki, and someone pinged me on Discord asking if I had footage, and so I stayed up an extra hour patching it together and then uploaded the Clawful Caper story to my event archives playlist. So yeah, if you want to watch a Clawful Caper, the story of the event, it's on my channel. So is the first New Year's event. $78,000 Wormites. Nice. Anyway, hand reveal. I've already done a hand reveal. Not on my channel, but like, I'm around on all sorts of Dragalia Discords. I have my own Discord that no one ever talks in because my rules are too strict. But then I hang out on Foundry's Discord. I hang out on Orthodox's Discord. Those are the two big ones. I'm technically on Log's Discord. I'm still on Trip's Discord, although I might not be for much longer. Just because I'm inactive is the main reason. If I was a DL unit, what would my element, weapon, and class be? Let's see, I think I'd start with a wind character and then get a light alt. Hint, hint. Thanks. And again, you can go to my SoundCloud that's linked on my page and download it for free. The music. Yeah. No, like, I usually don't do live reactions to Dragalia Digests. Cause like, other people do it, and if I did it, it would just split the community. It's the reason I didn't have a Discord for a long time, because I didn't want, if people spent time on my Discord, they weren't spending time on other Discords, and that just split the community. So I have a Discord, but it's not a Dragalia Lost Discord. So, it's just kind of a general Discord, and no one ever talks there. Which is fine, because people are chatting elsewhere. Let's see. Yeah, my profile picture, that's not my cat. That's actually a cat that, I think it was like, there was like a group of cats that we found in the crawl space under our house. They were so adorable. And we like sent them off all to get adopted and stuff. I don't actually, have profile pictures of my own cats. And I actually changed it recently. Because I changed my, my name to, Incognito. Spelled differently on a couple other Discords, including Maincord, just, you know, to go incognito so people didn't recognize my name. Because I found that ironic that people kept just recognizing me for, like, you know, my Shadow History of Power Creep video. Because, like, I put, for every 3-minute how to play, I put in, like, 4 hours of work, including picking the character, writing the script, recording the footage, and editing it together. So, like, the fact that people barely talk about it is just kind of, okay, that's fine. I mean, they're still kind of fun to make. The least fun part about making them is recording the gameplay footage, because it's the same thing every time, with the exception of like a few characters that play differently. But yeah, it's just like Avenue to Power, Avenue to Fortune, Ruins, Dragon, Avenue, or Imperial Onslaught, whatever endgame content's relevant, the easiest version so I can get footage. So, would I ever improve a script for one of my how to plays? I don't know. I like most of the scripts where they're at. I thought about re-recording and re-uploading some of the earlier ones, because if you go back and watch the first one, the quality's pretty trash, but the writing is still pretty good. So yeah, you just gotta keep asking me questions and keep me talking until we get to 100, right? The 35th anniversary video of Mario. Yeah, I caught that earlier today at work. It caught me off guard. I had no idea it was there. I just happened to open YouTube like shortly after it premiered. Well, I guess should lower the price of diamantium in the shop. See, I don't know. The problem with that is if it gets any cheaper, people are gonna start getting what they want, and they might not buy as much. Like, I don't know. It's a trade-off. Like, I'm sure there's a bunch of marketing research into, like, the price of diamantium. What's my favorite store? Amazon. Do you believe we'll get Encyclopedia before or after anniversary? They'll announce it during anniversary, or we won't get it this year. Yeah, the problem with DL Revenue is their entire monetary system is based on the gacha. So, like, you buy diamantium to summon, or you, like, buy specific things to use on things you get from the gacha. Like, golden papers, sunlight stones, that kind of thing. Like, the only thing that aren't from the gacha are weapon ingots, which you don't buy anyways unless you're really hardcore whaling, because you can just max them. We get so many ingots. Not so many. We get enough ingots to max and bind what we need. My favorite season is fall, because summer's too hot, winter's too cold, and spring has too much pollen. What's my favorite birthday? I don't have one. Well, I don't know. My sister's birthday is kind of nice, because it's in fall. The summon system they had before the Switch directors. Okay, all event characters are only available on specific banners. Limited characters increase revenue by forcing pulls on a specific thing. The problem right now is that, like, let me go over here. Nope, I don't know how to get to this via anything other than my bookmark. Come here. Into the tabs. There we go. All right. So, if we look at the history, basically how it's been going is we got a gala, a focus, a gala remix, a dragon special and a rerun, and then a gala. And that's pretty much how it's been for the past like 2 or 3 months. The last 4-star we got was Sha Wu Jing, way back here. And so that's just how it's been. It's like we get gala, focus, rerun, and dragon, and then gala, focus, gala, although this wasn't a gala at the time, and then like rerun, dragon, gala, focus, remix, rerun and dragon, gala, focus, rerun and dragon, or remix, rerun and dragon, and then gala, and now we're on the focus again. So the next one's gonna be a gala remix, with new units and old gala units on rate up, but not all of the gala units in the pool. So that's just how it is now, and it kind of sucks because it's harder to snipe things on gala. So even though it's better for Eldwater and it's better for new players, veterans have less of a chance of getting new stuff. And like if they throw us like a limited something in this, it's just gonna be rough. And like with the limited stuff, it sucks too, because I feel like most of what they have for limited is all backloaded in one part of the year. So we get like Halloween, which is limited, and then we get Christmas, which is limited, New Year's, which is limited, Valentine's, which is limited, and then the rest of the year is pretty much not limited. So it's rather unfortunate for like that area of the year, because you really only want to summon unlimited banners or maybe gala banners, because gala banners have some good stuff, and if you don't get it when it's on rate up, you might not get it later, or for a long time. Oh wow, we're actually up to 80. Nice. Clearly, we need to ask more interesting questions. Favorite apple cultivar? What? I'm not familiar with the word cultivar. My favorite kind of apple is in the fruit is Granny Smith. Although I also like Golden Delicious and Fuji. My favorite kind of Apple device is the iPhone. Yeah, no, Summer Makoto is really unlikely because the pool is enormous and he's not rayed up. I'm sorry, it's really unlikely, but don't let that deter you because on the last Dream Summon, it was between Grace and Tobias for me, and I'm like, I'm just gonna pull normally and do the Dream Summon later on, and if I happen to get Grace or Tobias, I get the Dream Summon the other one. And then I pulled Tobias, and it was beautiful. What events would I like to see getting added to the compendium? All of them? Like, obviously, like, not like all of them will be added, but in terms of, I think Accursed Archives is the next one I'd pick to put in the compendium, just because it's got really good lore in it, and it's a facility event, so it fits with the current roster. I wonder if they'd add story events, because like story events have associated drops from like just the regular quests and don't really have very many quests of their own. So, like, I don't know how they do that with the treasure trade. The axe rework, I still don't like it. I still think axe has got a slight nerf. What unit do I hate, but later on I started to like? I mean, I hate Ezalith as a character, but I like the way she plays. She's fun. Zardin. Zardin is a good example of that. When he first came out, I'm like, oh, this guy is like so narcissistic. And then I read chapter 5 of his story. I was like, oh, that's actually kind of sweet. And then he became one of my favorites. Tier 2 favorites. I have 3 tier 1 favorites, Makoto, Hawk, and Estelle, and then a bunch of tier 2 favorites. Favorite die shape, D20. Pretty basic, but D20. Yeah, no, I'm running out of things to talk about. If we don't hit 100 by 2.5 hours, I'll end the stream. Have I played Beautician Zardin in Tartarus? I have not. I do main Beautician Zardin in defense battles. I do not play any other gachas. I will not be playing any other gachas. I hate the gacha model, and I'm only playing Dragalia Lost because I played it before I knew it was a gacha. Do you think traditional healers will be overhauled as part of the rebalancing? I don't think so, because like the healing or no healing is more based off of the content that you're in. It's not really based on like the unit, it's based on the content. So if like they rebalance the content so that like all Agitos take like 6 minutes, yeah, I think healers will see more use. Favorite Mario Party and Mario Kart? I played a lot of Mario Kart 7. Mario Kart 8's pretty good too. I don't really have a favorite Mario Party. I haven't played it much. Super Mario Party is probably the one I've played the most. If we get to 99 views, that would be sad. For those of you who don't know, I work as an engineer. I'm a mechanical engineer, and I work as a plumbing engineer at an engineering consulting firm. And so when like sizing pipes and stuff, when like we hook up a number of things to like a main, because I do the design work, I'm not an actual plumber. And like I'm like sizing pipes to know like when something goes into the building and then distributes and branches out to the different like places and the different fixtures like sinks and whatnot. Each sink has like a fixture count that it's like how much water it uses like when it's turned on. And so like when we total those up, when we like go back to the main and like we count like up all the things as different branches connect up to the entrance to the building. And so we have certain numbers that once we cross that number of fixture units, we upsize the pipe. So it's like when you get one of the upsizing things is like 200 fixture units. And like if we get to 199, we usually just, you know, round up to 200, upsize the pipe. $88 viewers, you're getting close. Be honest, did any of you create an alternate account just to artificially raise the view count? Any Rage of Bahamut characters I want in? No, because I'm unfamiliar with the source material. I honestly don't think anyone's gonna get into Smash Bros. From Dragalia Lost. It would be cool, but I'm pretty sure there's not gonna do it. Dragalia Lost, unfortunately, isn't big enough, and specifically, it's not big enough as a Nintendo property. Favorite YouTuber? Oh gosh, I don't know. Why are you telling people to stop leaving? They've left. They can't hear you anymore. Let's see. It's kind of sad now that like you're trying to like raise the view count to 100 when like the stream is practically over, so people will be joining in for basically nothing but the face reveal. So like, I mean, like I could like just lower the criterion later on, like for like the next stream. Like maybe next stream like get up to a view count of like 80 or something. I don't know, because I'm thinking like this part of the stream is gonna wind up in like the archive when the stream gets uploaded, and like the last hour of this stream is just gonna be like me answering questions between silence. And like I'd love to say like you guys can log off now, like there's nothing left in the stream, but I don't actually know if we're gonna cross 100 or not. So this is probably the part where people watching after the fact would like to skip ahead and find out if I actually turn on face cam or not. Also, if you want to ask more questions from me, I have a specific channel on my Discord specifically for that. With the power of friendship, anything is possible. The two most powerful forces in the world are friendship and love. Why do I have to think so realistically? Because this is the reality we have, and it's the one we live in, and it is what we make of it, and it is a beautiful reality. And if it doesn't appear to be, well, I've recently been watching Legend of Korra on Netflix, and one of the characters is like in season 2 is like, if you look for light in the darkness, you'll often find it, but if you only look for the darkness, that is all you'll ever see. So, I tend to lean on the optimistic side. Can I stream gameplay while streaming? I thought about streaming Dragalia Lost, but that requires several extra steps that I'm not familiar with, of getting Dragalia Lost from my phone onto my computer. I might do it if I get a new computer that I know can like handle several processes at once. I know my current computer probably can, but it complains at me so much. So, in terms of being very, very hot, is how it complains at me. Can I stream the Henry Stickmin games? I already did that on my Discord. And I do stream sometimes on my alt channel. My alt channel is linked on my channel page. So you can find my Minecraft streams over there. The episodes kind of jump around a little bit after episode 3 because I started streaming on my Discord as I went on vacation for a week and didn't really have access to easy streaming. I do have a sibling. If you want to hear how she sings, she has guest appearance roles in I Know Agito and With Our Teamwork, and she also has guest appearances in How to Play Lowen and How to Play Luis and How to Play Ron. Yeah, I know, the view count is dropping. So, I don't know. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be like my first Tartarus clear when I had 9 seconds left. How am I handling COVID? Same way I handled not COVID, staying inside, being on my computer for most of the day. I've mostly been working from home. Google has this nice little remote feature that allows you to connect to another computer remotely, and I've just been remoting into my computer at work. So, I go into work on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then I work from home Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So, favorite corner store? I don't really have one, but I will say I was on vacation back in July, the end of July, and we were in a tourist town. I'll leave the name undisclosed for privacy purposes, but there was this one candy shop that we just found at the end of the week that sells apple heads. And like my favorite candy is lemon heads, but apple heads are really good too, and they're really rare as far as I can tell. And I just bought out their whole stock. It was so good. They also had gummy sharks. Favorite Dragalia Lost YouTuber? I don't know. Isn't Foundry like the default choice? Favorite word that begins and ends with a vowel? It's not something I've thought about, and it seems like a lot of effort to do so. Favorite piece of music from DL? Ooh, that's a tough one. I've been cycling through the home screen themes recently, trying to like land on one, and I've actually landed on Haikai Goodbye or Haikai Goodbye Sayonara, I think is what it's called. Yeah. And like when I was working on Welcome to the Halidom, I set that as my like home theme, and just I wouldn't change it until I finished that project, just so I could listen to it all the time. And it did get old eventually, but now I'm just back on that one. How do I think they're gonna balance the other elements? I think they're kind of gonna leave Shadow kind of as is, make the other elements stronger, but then rebalance all of the content in the game, so that basically it's the equivalent of reducing Shadow without actually changing the mods, so that data miners will report back, yep, no change in Shadow, and the community are like, excellent, and everyone else is stronger now, but in actuality it's like they just nerfed Shadow. Favorite place I've been? Earth. Have to give Earth a 9 out of 10. We need new in-game background music. We get it with new events. We got Checkmate with the current event. The Rhythmic Resolutions one was alright. I really liked Stealth Dance from the Siller Doomsday Getaway raid event. And I think probably my favorite event music is the Scars of the Syndicate one, Get Up. So it's I don't know. We got 3 minutes. It doesn't look like we're gonna make it. Favorite galaxy I haven't been to? Well, I can't name any, so. Fun facts, nothing starts with N and ends with G. That's a fun fact. Let's see. Did I see the Direct today? The Mario Direct? I did. I'm not answering that position, Christopher. I also do not find it amusing, because I value my morals above most other things in my life. Mario Battle Royale. I don't know. Do I still have Nintendo Online? I bought it for Pokemon Sword and Shield, just so I could do some trading and like some battles. I might not have Nintendo Online anymore. I was sorely disappointed by it, as I'm sure most people were. Oof, I'm sorry to hear that. Look, the face reveal will come at some point. I'll just keep lowering the bar until we finally cross it. One Nintendo IP that hasn't had a game in a while do I want? I don't know, none in particular. I haven't actually been using my Switch a lot recently. Have not, because, I don't know, I've just been doing other things. I've been really busy with my life. With my job, and then watching YouTube in the evening, making videos occasionally, about weekly or so, from my channel. I do not have Mario Maker 2. I bought the original Mario Maker and then barely used it. Besides, I make my own games. Favorite axe character? I don't know. Gelly, maybe? I don't really play axes. Axes are like my least favorite weapon class. Alright, you got 25 seconds. Nope. Doesn't look that way. But we can try again next time. But if you guys want to continue to hang out, I'll be on my Discord. And other Discords like Foundries. And Orthodoxes too. But yes, it has been fun, everyone. It is now 2.5 hours into the stream. When will the next live stream be? I don't know. I don't really schedule these things. I just kind of schedule them when I have something to talk about. I thought about doing one for chapter 15, but as I mentioned earlier, there's not much there. And then I decided when Tartarus comes out, if like the light weapons were underpowered and people got really, really miffed about it, I'd make a live stream to talk about the design decision. Because as I mentioned with the water ones, I like how it's not quite as good. It's still all right, but like it encourages shared skills. And then like with the Tartarus fight, and then I was like, I might as well throw some anniversary predictions in there too, because those are pretty basic. So I'm going to call it here, but thank you all for joining me. I'll live stream again when there is something to talk about, and look forward to future content from me. I'm planning a how to play. Several people already know which how to play is coming out this weekend. It's a special one. I kind of forgot to mention it. It was kind of important that I mentioned it in my last live stream, and I didn't. So that's on me. Next, this weekend will be a fun how to play, and then I have another big one planned after that. In addition to like the usual small but still hopefully well-written ones. So I will see you all around. Thank you all for joining me today. Have a nice day, night, wherever you are. And I will talk to you next time, and whenever I chat with you next, wherever. Laters.